What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Momento. AC Momento, your digital sports and concerts scrapbook. Download Momento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. Those playoff mementos do hit, I'll tell you that much.
Not to.
Yeah. Today, we recap the first game of the Round 1 playoff series against LAFC. We check in on NWSL Decision Day and preview the home leg of the series this Sunday before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Paul Fletes.
And I'm Logan Bartlett.
And Lobar, as always, brother, it is time for preheated takes to kick off the episode. What are you feeling, my guy?
Yeah, so after that game one at the playoffs, which we'll talk about shortly, I'm challenging this club to meet this preheated take, and I'm saying that Austin will register more than 10 shots in game 2. Just 10. I feel like that's not a crazy bar. So just give me 10 shots.
That's double digits, brother. That seems excessive, but I like the optimism. It is our one last final hurrah, possibly in the 5-1-2, but I like it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yep. I'm absolutely just skipping the playoffs altogether with this one. I'm already looking ahead because I don't know, maybe I am that optimistic. We've already lifted the cup, but I'm thinking about our latest roster addition, and I have that our first roster addition of the offseason will be a TAMable, like TAM level MLS veteran, attacking player. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But we've got that TAM. We've got the spot.
Please.
We're going to spend it. We're going to spend it, bro.
I like
it. Just to start kind of thinking that wave. But anyway, we have more pressing matters to attend to, which is the Game 1 review of Austin FC versus LAFC at LA. Haha, shout out the Dodgers that lost in the World Series. Great times were had. But yeah, this game, first of all, I want to say shout out Los Verdes for having the watch party in 2 spots of town. They had up north at Hop Squad, and I think it was Chalmers down over by the East End, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I know, I was surprised at the attendance, believe it or not, for Wednesday night. You know, we had good crowd of people.
Yes, all the crowd we got there.
Cheering on the Verde Black. It was good times, man. Good times. So,
for sure.
that was probably the highlight of the night. I'll be honest, because the game itself, as we were kind of alluding to when we previewed this playoff series, a lot of Haram ball, a lot of defensive bending, not breaking until we broke ourselves with an own goal. Yeah. But we kind of picked things up in the second half. We started to find some open spaces, generate some forward momentum in the offense. Got a beautiful team goal. Shout out Owen Wolf again, just continuing to contribute to the goals for this team this year. And Galley with an amazing shot to slide past, but unfortunately that was not enough. The Verde and Black fall 2-1. Lobar, let's just keep it short and straight, man. What did you like about that match? What did you not like about the match? I mean, talk to us, G.
I like, I'll keep it kind of esoteric here and try not to get into specifics. Just, I like the resolve of the team, right? You go down on a tough goal, an own goal off of a pass, deflects off of a pass, off of what you think as a defender is offside. In that moment. And I think the club, going into the second half more so when they started to pick up offensively, they showed good resolve, right? And it was kind of that gritty team that we've seen in the Open Cup that made comebacks, that kept teams honest and kept their matchup on the back foot as much as they could.
For sure.
I saw that team for a little bit, and I appreciated that. They didn't roll over like we did in 2022 when we played in LA. It was a lot of fight. The team kept pushing. We wanted possession. We wanted to get the ball in the box. So I appreciated that. So what did you like?
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. The resolve and the grittiness those were the 2 words that I was thinking of the entire day. After we woke up from that that performance. But yeah, man, I'm just reminded that this team can get it together. And I was trying to crunch some numbers because it felt like this season, more than any of the previous 4 seasons that we've experienced as fans, we had a lot of like that late game or late half comeback magic.
Right.
And that's why I wasn't too pressed. I mean, I say that now, but I can definitely assure you I was pretty puckered up the entire
Yeah.
time. But
The entire game.
I knew that, like, especially those final minutes as we were kind of working that ball around and everyone was screaming like, please get the ball forward. I knew the ball was going to get forward. I knew we were going to try and challenge for either some kind of set piece opportunity or, corner or a free kick, whatever.
Yeah.
We got that. And unfortunately it was just a little bit too late, but yeah. The guys kept, digging in, trying to find another way to get past. But ultimately, I think it was just our own mistake that really kind of got us in the playoffs. Man,
Yeah.
you just can't do that,
Yeah.
and expect to make it out.
I thought the team did pretty good defensively, all in all,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yes, LAFC had a bunch of shots. Sure, they're always going to, and Nico Estevez talked about that in the post game presser. But
Hmm.
those moments where LA is most dangerous, right? Um, Either Zvatak and crew, Dessler ran their ass off to beat the streaking Buanga or Son to get the ball, get it back
Right.
to Stuber and squash the counter before it can before they could strike. Or, yes, LAFC is going to get the ball on the counter. They're going to do their thing, but the defense did a good job of getting back, kind of congesting the middle of the box and making them get a tougher shot out of it, give Stuber a chance to save it. And they did that time and time again.
Yeah.
We mentioned the deflections and the tough goals. If Hollingshead and what's the kid's name that got the second goal? I'm blanking.
Ordaz.
Thank you, Ordaz. Beat
Hmm.
you. You did your game plan right. You just got, unlucky. So I thought the defense did their part. Unfortunate deflections for BHI, right? He got the deflection on that first one
Hmm.
right off his foot, just, hit it far net for LAFC. The second one was a little more incidental, right? It hits his torso as he's sliding to block the shot and causes
Right.
Stuber to get stuck in the middle of a jump, trying to block it. Should we talk about those goals, though? Because both kind of had some questionable refereeing.
Bro.
It wasn't as obvious as it seemed to the ref as it was to us as fans.
I mean, I'm down to wade in those waters, bro. But at the end of the day, when I do look at that Ordaz goal and I review that body language across the LAFC team, I don't want to reopen that wound
Fair.
emotionally.
Fair.
I'm be honest with you, but I think it is worth having that conversation because again, it just kind of harkens back to that criticism that we've always had of the level of refereeing
Yeah.
in MLS. But what are your thoughts? What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean the crowd reaction in both those moments. We're screaming at the projector screen, saying like, "Dude, even LAFC knows that was offside, or at least they
Right.
feel that way,
Hmm.
right? Like you got to give it a more look than what you're giving."
Yeah.
And when I watched the YouTube highlights of the game, I just went to scroll down afterwards to look at the comments to see what the vibes were. One, Heung-min Son's aura is crazy. That 14 hours after this game, that highlight video had 175,000 views on YouTube and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of comments from Korea and England of people
Yeah.
commenting like, shout out Sony. Sony's the man. He's the man. They're all over it. So
Sure.
shout
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
him. But in those comments, right, they're looking at the first play of the game, off the kickoff,
Hmm.
where Ilie decks Son. They're like, how the ref missed not give that a yellow card offer? That's a rugby tackle. They're going all in
Right.
on it. And then on the flip side, you have our fans, you know, uh, in the moment, responding how we did with frustration. Diego Rubio goes on Twitter and says, the refs always want to be the protagonist, right? They got to make sure they're the protagonist of this. And,
Yeah.
so people had opinions, right? So it's worth mentioning. At the end of the day, we let the refs beat, or not that we let the refs beat us, but the referees made the decisions they made, and we lost the game because of that.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate, but score goals and
And
it
take
doesn't
shots
matter.
like you were saying, right?
Yeah, right. You take
Yeah.
shots and you score goals, none of that matters because you win the game. So,
And I mean, speaking of shots, we don't really see anything in that first half. I mean, we both looked at FOTMob, right? And technically they registered it as like one shot in the half. But I think for our narrative, you were saying off air that, it doesn't give us, that confidence, especially going into Q2, and I don't want to see that as a fan. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. It's been a long season, and if I have to see us bunker down at home in a playoff situation, bro, I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah. I want to go the way we went. Again, I keep referring to how fast we went against San Diego, dude. Back in March, and I mean, we just hit them with a quickness, and they didn't know what to do.
Out the gate.
And bro, we just got to do that.
Yeah, seeing the XG at like the 39th minute. Granted, for both teams, I think LAFC had like 0.25 XG.
Yeah.
And then Austin had 0, right? And with like just a handful of minutes left. And there was only 1 minute of stoppage time in the first half, right? So it's kind of like damn, we just kicked the ball around for 40 minutes. That's tough. Like glorified passing practice. Anyway.
Do you think they were playing for penalties? You think like both teams? I feel like Austin more so. That in
the first. I mean, I think both teams were just testing the waters. It's the playoffs. It's a different vibe. This was the third time we played LAFC and the third version of LAFC we had played. And you could say the same for LAFC versus Austin, right? The first game we had BV9. The second game we didn't have Uzuni and Bukhari. Now this game we're at minus BV9 full strength. So it was new matchup. The 2 games before didn't give anybody anything other than the fact that we're both in the playoffs. This is new clubs across the board. Who knows? So I think it was more testing waters and,
fair play,
cautious, not breaking, not letting the counter, because both teams have been successful on the counter at, different scales, sure, different levels, but both have been successful in scoring on the counter. So, I think it was more that than if both teams are playing for penalties in the first half, then something's wrong. So I don't even want to entertain that was a possibility, because that would be crazy.
I feel that. Insert Sean Dyche game's gone, soundbite right here, because I do feel that. I feel that very heavily, but it was never going to be a pretty game. I think none of these games are going to be pretty. If it comes down to 2, if it comes down to 3 games, it's going to be one of those. We're just going to have to kind of grin and bear it. But ultimately, I think closing this out for just the recap part of this for the first half of the episode, I just want to leave you with this question, Lobar, and then also to the listeners here. But like, let's say, okay, it's Thursday evening of recording. You get a phone call, Nico Estevez. Hey, so and so. I don't know what to do Sunday, bro. Like, what do you think I should do?
What's the
game plan, basically? What are you telling Nico and his staff how to get right for Sunday?
Shit, bro. Go down swinging, bro. Like, and not with your back against the ropes. Like, just take a step forward, swing, take a step forward, swing. Get LAFC on the back rope and just see what you can do.
Yeah.
If you get beat taking big swings when your season's on the line, I'm not mad at it.
I like that.
I'd be okay with a game 3, but I don't think that we should play for a game 3, if that makes sense. I know that's what we're doing no matter what, right? We're playing to get to game 3. But that mentality of like, oh, we gotta get to this game. It's like, just win the game in front of you, bro. Like, don't worry about what's next. Just win the game in front of you. If you don't win, it's over. So swing, take shots, be risky, and trust that Stuver and your defense will cover your ass so that you can be creative up front. So
I like that, dude. I like that. Yeah, I'm telling him kind of something that you've always been on for a large part of the season, and that's give Buka the damn ball and make sure that he's able to get touches inside of the opponent's box and do something, make some magic. I was really frustrated at that call. The second foul call against Segura, or against Bukhari on Segura, but like that was a beautiful shot that he took, and I'm so frustrated that like that was the level of contact needed to generate a call like that. But Yeah, I think Bukhari is definitely going to have to like get more involved on Sunday at home
Yeah.
in order for this to really, mean something and get something for game 3. But
Yeah. And
I
that'll
like
be a
that,
big
man.
conversation in the offseason, I think, that we'll be having, right? Is like, what does this offense look like come May of next year when Vasquez is back, right?
Right.
Assuming he's back by then. Like, how does this team line up and what do they do? We'll talk about that
Sure.
in a month or so when we win the
Yeah.
cup. But
Yeah. Right. I love it.
anyway,
I love it, man. Well, yeah, I think for that, just praying and hoping that these guys are ready for, the game of their season so far. This has to be treated like the Open Cup final. There's no other way to
yeah,
look at this. Your season's done. Otherwise, but
yeah,
yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that game after the halftime discussion, but we can go ahead and get into that now, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So yeah, for halftime, we are looking at the NWSL and specifically Decision Day on the horizon.
Yeah.
So just a quick overview of the table as I pull that up here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Kansas City has been running with it.
Yeah, they're well ahead in first. They're 18 points up on second place.
Yeah, and
First and
that's
second, they're settled.
yeah. First and second for sure. Washington Spirit
Mm-hmm.
in second. Orlando Pride, surprisingly, after a weird slide to kind of end that final third of the season, is back in third place.
Yep.
Good for them, kind of regaining form. Seattle Reign, which had a rough start to the season, also found themselves in fourth. Your San Diego Wave sit comfortably in fifth. Portland somehow is also in the mix at sixth. Gotham and Louisville kind of round out those final 8 spots there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I would say it's really just kind of a clash for that 8th seed. I think between North Carolina and, well, what is that? Houston? Not really.
Just North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, just North
Down to
Carolina.
9. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to be. Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
story of parity. Yeah, we see parity from third through, you could say ninth, really third through seventh though, right? Like 3 points separates Orlando in third and Gotham in seventh.
Mm-hmm.
Decision Day will come down to who sits where in the table
Right.
because of that. So I think it's a battle for home field advantage, and it's a battle for ninth place, right? Because that could end up being Gotham racing Louisville or North Carolina, depending on how things end up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a story of kind of similar to what we saw in the Western Conference and MLS. Who's going to end up where, who's going to be facing who.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little worried for my Wave, bro. They could fall, technically speaking, they could fall to like 6th. I think is the lowest they can go with goal differential.
Sure.
They could fall down another spot. And we got Casey Current for Decision Day, the best team in the league by far, right? So it's not an easy task. I know they want to jump up. They had the opportunity to jump up.
Right.
And they probably need an assist from your Houston Dash because they're facing Portland on Decision Day. Portland's tied with San Diego right now, right? So
yeah.
Can they do it? Can they play spoiler?
I think so, man. I mean, we've seen it where, Houston came out on top over, those Giants over from Kansas City. I don't think that there's going to be a boring game on Decision Day in the NWSL. I'll be honest with you. I think all of these games and these matchups, surprisingly, like the bottom half of the table has still managed to kind of make things like entertaining. And so I think we're in for some good games coming up. That racing Louisville, North Carolina, just placement at the end of this is going to be the big drama there. But yeah, man. How do you feel about your matchup? Because San Diego's matching up against
Casey Current. That's
Casey
the current
Current.
matchup. I'm nervous. I mean, they did just fall to Houston. Casey Current did. You're kind of hoping that they rest because they have first place and home field advantage throughout the playoff, like secured by far, and so you're hoping that they rotate, so that they can rest for playoffs, right?
For sure.
I hope San Diego then just swings because San Diego, they were on a down form for like the 8 of the last 10 games, but they're on a 2-game win streak. They have everything to play for. They could end up in third and get home field advantage for a heavy chunk of the playoffs,
Right on.
potentially. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. Again, it just depends on if KC's cheeky like that. If they're going to say, okay, we'll rotate with playoffs and secured,
Right. Right.
So, but maybe Houston they get a little bit of a formula of how to beat them watching that Dash game
Yeah.
and say, great, we can do that too. So
For sure. For sure. Well, yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's gonna be a good watch. I know for me, just looking at the playoffs that start November 7th, if I'm not mistaken. I think November 7th, so next weekend.
yeah,
It's gonna be a good time, and I think if I'm not mistaken, all the games are gonna be available either through the NWSL Plus app or through Amazon Prime Video.
okay,
So just keep an eye out for that. I'll see if I can bump those on social media,
cool.
just for folks that are looking to kind of cue in there. But
I'll say this for casual fans who want to just another hit of the decision day madness, just a week removed from MLS. The game of the week for me is North Carolina versus Gotham. Right, that's that 7th place versus 9th place matchup. North Carolina has to win if they want a chance to sneak into the playoffs, and they'll need every bit of luck because Racing Louisville has Bay FC to face, who's
For sure.
second worst in the league, right? So it's almost a softball for Louisville, but North Carolina needs some of that decision day magic. So
Yep.
that'll be a game with good implications.
For sure, for sure. And that one is Sunday just before our kickoff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 4 p.m.
4 p.m. So
Pre-game, watch
woo-wee.
it. Yep,
Footy all over the place, man.
I know.
You love it, but sometimes it can get a little overwhelming.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Especially for a fiance who enjoys soccer, but not as much as her fiance.
I feel that, G. I feel that, man.
Yeah.
I've been there before, but
Yes.
Well, speaking of being overwhelmed, we will take a quick break just to catch our breath here, grab some water, and we will come back with that Game 2 preview against LAFC at home. Just stick right back. We'll be
right back.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Yeah. And we're back again at Q2 this Sunday. It is all or nothing. I don't know what else to say to hype this game up, man. It's the playoffs.
Must see TV.
Honestly, bro, it truly is. And I'm hyping myself up here because I know realistically it hasn't always been must see TV, but we're here. It is.
Look, this is realistically this is the only home game of the year. Actually, guaranteed, the only home playoff game of the year. Even if we win and we move on, the odds are that like every other matchup's top seed is winning.
Right, so, right. And then we got to travel the rest of the way
for every round. So this is it.
I love it, dude. I think that is the better queue up for sure. Because I'm be honest, man, like Wednesday kind of knocked me a bit, but I'm going to be here for it. The Twitter, for the club has been actually doing okay. Everything in front of us, and like we're going to keep going. And I'm taking every little bit of Verde vibe that I can to have this conversation with you and share this with our listeners and stuff. But bro, I'm nervous, dude. Like we were not shooting at all, on Wednesday, bro. So like, what do we got to do, bro? What do we got to do? Do we need to change your lineup at all, or like, do you feel like that is the starting 11 that gets the nod on Sunday? Let's start with that.
It's interesting because like, every time we're trailing in a game, right? We put in guys like Holmanich, we put in guys like Fudgery, you put in guys like Savovich, and then all of a sudden we're just slinging crosses in left and right and creating chances,
Right.
And not to say that's the most efficient style of play or my preferred style of play to watch,
right?
But anytime we need shots, we put in the left foot, Jean Holmanich, pack the box, and we go for it. And I mean, realistically, that's just a hyper exaggerated version of what we do already. where we just have like maybe 1.5 people in the box off of like a Bukhari cross or a Dessler
Right.
cross, so it's not too far from what we're already kind of doing. And so I don't know, maybe there's like a middle ground there where we play we start a little more offensively heavy, right? And that might mean we start with like 3 center backs in, and Kolmanich and Dessler, and maybe somebody more offensive focus in the midfield other than Ilie potentially, right?
Yeah.
Swap Ilie for somebody and have it be, attack centric up front from a lineup standpoint. So it's possible. We don't have too many options though that can just slot into those kind of flex positions like the midfield. We don't have a true cam, right?
Yep.
So who's going to slot in there for Ilie if it's not Owen Wolf, right? Or if it's not Mirto, but then we don't have Diego, right? So then you're kind of, or if it's not Diego, right? He's out. So you're kind of limited with options unless you want to get real weird and put somebody like Obrian or Taylor in the middle, which means, we're playing no defense. It's just like Svatak and whoever's back there just hold it down. So I don't know, man. It's I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, we've kind of showed all our hand. I expect that Nico has showed all of his hands at this point throughout the season with the Open Cup.
For sure.
And so like we'll probably see something we've seen before, and something that's familiar.
Yeah.
Not that it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of vibe, but it is broke kind of. But it's like not super broke. It's kind of one of those weird things of like, let's not tinker too much and shoot ourselves in the foot.
Right. Well, and that's what's frustrating, man, is like I go back to the fact that we have been defensively solid, and we were against LAFC on game 1, but I mean, I don't know if it's just the placement of, those center backs when the ball is getting played into the mixer there. And I get it. That's the point of putting in a ball in a dangerous position, right? Because anything can happen. But I mean, looking, a little bit wider lens, we held LAFC, to a pretty good, offensive output, meaning it wasn't all that dangerous. But I don't know, man. I think it's going to be the same 11. I think it makes sense that the subs that came in when they did kind of alluded to that. Buka coming off quite early there. I think, what was that? The 78, 74?
72nd or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, that was our biggest threat kind of gone, but yeah. I recognize that we're saving that a little bit, but
I'm going to completely flip my script here. Let's do something weird, bro. Like that's not going to happen, but it'd be really fun if we just say, fuck it. We're playing like a 3-5-2, just roll in there. Buka's in the middle. Cause there's that play from last night's game, from Wednesday's game, where Mirto comes kind of in a false nine position, comes down for the ball, turns, and he sprints 30 yards down the field. One slightly heavy touch at the end kind of betrays him, but like, imagine Buka in that position, bro, where he's coming in to the center, getting the ball, and just and turning and running, and not just being stuck, glued to the sideline and having to create 1-on-2, 1-on-1 from a standstill. Like, give him that space to run with the ball, not just run behind fighting for the ball in air. Which LAFC, regardless of the fouls merit or not, they were called. Like they kind of squashed that early and said, all right, Buka's getting too many fouls from this. We got to move on. So like, I would be happy to see like kind of a weird tactic out of nowhere of like, all right, we're getting Buka in the middle now. Get him the ball, turn and run, and see what happens there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Exactly what we see with Bouanga and Son, like make that Mirto and Bukhari and just get Owen Wolf and those dudes slinging those passes in from the midfield and go from there.
Well, what was interesting, speaking of LAFC's top two hitmen, is like, I noticed that they were a little bit more tucked in, narrow in those half spaces on Wednesday night. So that was, for me, the interesting point. It was like, I understand that Bouanga loves to operate kind of in a more open space, but like, I don't know, Cherundolo had this kind of image of like, I guess those two guys just kind of linking in right around the top of the D, on the 18-yard box. And it was working, to some degree in terms of getting them in those positions, but like they weren't scoring, so that's fine. I like that. I think my only thing is that I just feel like Nico is so wedded to this idea of like committing to team defense, which keeps that possible, right? Of keeping those attackers at bay for the opposition.
Yeah.
That I don't know, man. I just because what you're describing is exactly how like a pencil type for Galaxy back in 2023 was kind of operating. Not super wide out, but him and Peck, if I remember
Very
correctly,
inverted.
they were linking up, and so I don't know, man. What I do miss, though, I'll tell you that is Danny P dribbling up and breaking through lines, bro, with his ability to just kind of cut that. And we're not really seeing a whole lot of that. There was a really good clip of him just going east-west at one point in the second half, and I was like, brother, I need you to go up. But
and he had that. I mean, the goal that we got, right? He created that kind of cutting across the midfield from one corner to the other, getting to the edge of the box and making that final pass in. Like he can be that guy, and he has been for us. And I think, when we're looking for that answer, it's like, how do we get him in those positions more?
Yeah.
And what does the formation look like to make that possible? And that, again, that was in the second half. Like, we want to see, how do we replicate that second half performance offensively? How do we get 8 shots and a half consistently every half? And what are we doing differently to get people in dangerous positions and space to do that? So it's, I don't want to harp on game 1 too much more, but looking ahead, just that idea of like, what can Nico do? What does he have in his bag, if anything? Like one last trick to really put LAFC on edge and take that advantage. I think he's shown capabilities of that this year, of being able to pull something out of nowhere. You're like, oh, whoa, interesting, and it worked. And I think we need it. We need it. It's kind of this is the time to really just throw something out there and see what happens. And I wouldn't be mad at that. Personally, I would not be mad if we see a weird lineup with an interesting formation and just, I don't know, and we create goals, right? If it doesn't work at all right.
Oh, bro, I'm punching you in the face, dude. If I see that happen, if I see this weird wonky lineup and then it's 0 shots, and Q2, and I got to go to the bathroom, I'm absolutely just
the 0 shots thing. I'm mad regardless. So tinker, create some opportunities, like it's the 70th minute plus and you're down 2-1,
right?
0-0 in the first minute. Do it then.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I was at that last game when you were at ACL. And the international break and whatnot, the last LAFC Austin game.
Oh, yeah.
You too. There were a lot of Son fans out there, right? Austin FC fans too, right? They're both,
for sure,
both fans. But with him in town this time, right? With Son being there at the game and it being a win and move on for them, how much of the stadium do you think will be donning LAFC gear, Tottenham gear, South Korean national team group gear, right? Like, you think it'll be a noticeable amount from the?
I think it would be a noticeable amount, a sizable chunk of folks repping Human Zone for sure. Bro, you just said Tottenham, and
they're out there.
I know, bro. I know they are.
Have that jersey.
I know they are, bro, and I know they have that jersey, but. You know us, bruv. You know us.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's going to be a good. If I had to give it a number, out of 100, percentage wise, I'd say a good. I don't know. 1 in 10.
Yeah, 10% of the stadium is LAFC. Part of it too, man. You got to think. The narrative of Austin, where all the Los Angelinos moved here. And so
True.
like. They're embedded in our city, those.
Yeah, but that's LAFC. I guess I'm still stuck on the Son part, but yeah, you're right. In terms of rooting for LAFC, yeah, that's a bigger number. I would say probably closer to like a 20%, 1 in 5. Hate to say it. Yeah, that's a fat number for us, but
we're gonna do our part. We're gonna get loud,
bro. All I know is I gotta show up. I gotta rock the heartbeat kit, bro. Like if I'm wearing that thing correctly, it's gonna make us win the game. Like that's all I can think about. Like I have to wear it correctly, otherwise.
If you're wearing it, we lost. He means if it's off within 5 minutes and that thing swinging around in the air for the rest of the game, that means we won. That's what really is.
Oh, bro, you right. You so
If it's
right,
still
dude.
on, we lost 3-0.
I hate that that's so true, bro, but you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So
I need
wearing it
that
right
thing.
as in not wearing it at all.
I need that thing off as
Yeah.
soon as
The
possible.
moment we score, that jersey's off. every game.
Staying off, bro.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our final point, and that is predictions, brother.
Bro, this could be
I'm
our
gonna.
last one of the year. Our last prediction of the year. Sorry to cut you off.
It
Just
could
wanted to
be, bro. It could be. It could be. Um,
start us off.
I almost had this for a preheated take, but I figured that was going to be too on the nose. I think, brother. I know I was all blue in the face or whatever earlier, but I think we get a shutout at home. I think the defense absolutely gives us a beautiful defensive masterclass, and I think we walk out of Q2 with a beautiful 1-0.
Yep. And that would be the third time this season that we beat LAFC 1-0, right?
Yep.
I like where you're going. I kind of had that thought too, but I knew the moment you open your mouth that that's where you're running. So I'm just going to flip the score on its head. I think Austin FC wins 2-1. They even the score.
Okay.
And we go back to LA, and it's kind of a flip of the coin at that point, right? We look at 2022. We swept LAFC in the regular season. They beat us the third time, right? We just saw that again. We swept them in the regular season. They beat us the third time. Luckily, MLS weird playoff rules, we get another chance. So this is uncharted territory for both clubs. Is 4 matchups against a team, potentially 5.
But here's what I'm going to tell you, G. We scored 2 goals. We scored 2 goals on Wednesday.
Yeah, true.
You know,
One in the wrong
and
net,
you told me that. You told me that. But here was the thing, and I told you at the start of that game Wednesday night, what's going to piss me the most off is if we show up to LA and we just absolutely lay a goose egg. We did the first half, not going to lie, but that second half response was so much better than the team that went out to BMO that fateful day that I got my trumpet jacked.
Sad.
Yeah, bro. Because that was a rough watch. I'll be honest. That I just remembered both playoff games away at LAFC. We had a Austin own goal because Maxi Urruti had the own goal. So
tough, bro.
Damn, we got to cut that, bro. We got to cut that right now.
We have to.
Not good, man. All that said, though, yeah, I think it's going to be a gritty defensive result, but 1-0 at home for the good, and then we fly back game 3, play for penalties, and
that's it.
And we advance, bro. We got to.
Yeah. Can we go play what? Vancouver or some
Vancouver.
Shit? Yeah. Oh shit.
5-1 the result, except it's us this time.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Imagine, bro. Let's do it, dude. Yeah, now, we're kind of going off the rails now. I know. When we're saying 5-1 against Vancouver, it's wild.
Yeah, we got to get past LAFC first.
That's right. All right, let's get to Sausage for sure, dude. Oh my God, this point. Alex Freeman from Orlando City wins the MLS Young Player of the Year. That's not Owen Wolf. I don't want to talk about this, dude.
Too bad. We have to talk about it. Yeah, Alex Freeman wins. He was he first in the media's under 22
I believe
list,
so.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense because those same dudes voted on this, if I'm not mistaken, plus MLS people. What surprised me most, though, is that the top 3 did not include our sweet Owen Wolf. Mm-hmm. The top 3 rounded out with Obed Vargas from Seattle and Diego Luna, who won it last year, right? And so, as long as Owen Wolf keeps doing what he's doing, since that article came out, 22 under 22, he's had 2 goals, 3 goals and an assist, or 2 assists, whatever it was, 4 or 5 goal contributions. Since then, they must have voted a month ago before Owen Wolf kept dominating the league because he deserves at least a top 3 finish, in my opinion. Completely biased.
100%. Yeah, but, upvote.
So shout out Owen Wolf for being him. I think he wins it in my heart. Obviously, we said that already. So, but respectfully, fuck Alex Freeman. So,
yeah, bro, damn. I agree with you, dude. I mean, Alex is a fine player, but bro, just the level of impact on a team that is, whelming right now in the
Yeah.
playoffs. It is what it is. But looking on the defensive side of things, we have Tristan Blackman from Vancouver Whitecaps being named MLS Defender of the Year. Philadelphia's Glesnes and Wagner round out the top three there. I mean, what are your
which is
thoughts here?
crazy. I think it shows you how good Philly's defense was that they had to pick somebody else because clearly they deserved it, right? They had two guys in the top three voted for.
Yeah.
I was surprised that someone from San Diego didn't win it because they were dominant. I think they were the top 560. Anyway, it's just such a surprise that, and they were first in the West, right? I don't know. I was surprised that somebody didn't at least get a nod from San Diego. But it makes sense. It's a fine pick. MLS homer, U.S. men's national team guy now. Like, if you want to hype up the league how you can, you pick Alex Freeman and Tristan Blackman to win these awards ahead of the World Cup year. So I get it. I'm not mad at that one.
I dig it. Also got his start at LAFC. That's just one of those things, man. Looking on the offensive side of the ball here, we've got Son winning goal of the year. Bro, that free kick,
dirty.
Was it nice like that? I don't really think so. I'm not being a hater. I think just objectively speaking, it was
a great shot, right? And I think it was deserving of nomination because of just the story behind it, right? He comes to the league, he goes on a tear to dominate the league, and that was a huge highlight. I don't remember the other goals in like the specifics, but I remember the vibes. There were some pretty crazy ones,
right? Mm-hmm.
That I think deserved a shout. This one was more subjective. I think it was fan voted, and plus, I'm pretty sure fans got a part of this. I may be wrong. I don't really care. Good for him. Whatever, dude. I no one from Austin deserved this award, so I wasn't mad at it.
I feel that. I think I'm just annoyed at how quick this league is to just absolutely glaze, the newcomers, the new faces, and it's like, relax, guy, relax. But not a new guy. Celentano winning Save of the Year, not Bradley Stuver, bro.
That one I was a little more irked about, but I do remember watching the highlights. The 16 different goals or saves, and Stuver's was, without the context of knowing the game, it just looks like a really good save, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that was the Seattle game where he blocks Jordan Morris's shot, a good twitch dive across to block it, and then we go back and Mirto gets that game-winning goal off the Fadri header, right? So that the context of it, as an Austin SC fan, I think Stuver deserved it, but just from watching a 5-minute reel of all the different saves, Celentano was very good.
Yeah,
very good. So I'm not mad at it, but Stuver should have won it.
Got you.
Goalkeeper of the year. So
100%, bro. 100%.
Matter.
Yeah. Looking over at some national team duties here, we got the U.S. women's national team. They absolutely backheeled the hell out of New Zealand, 6-0 in Kansas City, CPKC Stadium. If you did not get a chance to watch that game right before Austin kicked off at BMO Stadium on Wednesday, it was a beautiful onslaught of offensive football. Shout out Emma Hayes and the girls.
Yep.
They made football fun to watch. And then shortly after, Nico Estevez and the boys did not. So that was a good game. I remember
y'all referenced that, obviously. At least we got to see that win. 6 goals, that felt good. And then we come watch Austin FC do their thing.
Yeah.
But it was one of many crazy slanted score lines for women's national footy, right? There was the Tunisia Libya game that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. What was that result? Was that the 12-0?
16-0. For FIFA Unites, that was the team over there. That was very just a good trend for the night to see those big score lines. So
Yep. And then last but not least, Chelsea doing the business, handling what is that? Wolverhampton Wolves in cup play for the Carabao Cup to win in both UCL and Carabao Cup. Yep. We're not going to talk about that loss to Sunderland in the last dying minutes of stoppage.
Tough. But they did fall to them. and with that drop to ninth, right? So Chelsea's sitting at ninth right now, only a few back from third, a
Why?
few points back from third. But
Let me be happy, bro. And then yeah, this weekend they look to right the ship against third place Tottenham this weekend, bro. What do you think of shit?
Tottenham. What do you think of Tottenham?
Shit.
There you go.
That's all right. All
That's
right.
all
Go ahead.
right.
Sorry. I had to do it. I had to do it. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. I was reading while you said it, so you're lucky I responded. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tottenham. Yeah, it was good to see. This is that same narrative, right? When we were looking at Austin, when they were playing an Open Cup, and we say, look, if we make it to the Open Cup final and we're on the fringe of playoffs, I'm not that mad, right? Because we took care of business. Now, I
Yep.
will say, Chelsea needs to be top four. That's just where they belong in league play. So we got time to right that ship. But
Sure.
if we're getting wins in UCL, if we're getting wins in Carabao Cup, mixed in with a little loss here and there, I
Mm-hmm.
can't be too mad, right? Now, we do have a chance to right that this weekend against Tottenham, who sits just 3 points ahead of us, right there in third. So we can make up some of that difference real quick with a big rivalry win,
Yeah.
especially with a matchup against Carabao FK
Yeah.
in the midweek matchup for UCL.
For sure.
And for those who don't know, they are a Azerbaijani top flight club with a stadium capacity of about 5,000. So,
House Park, maybe.
yeah, right. Straight up. No, it does look like a nice stadium. I do want to give them their credit. But all that to say is, right, when you're looking at the next two games, you see, okay, big game against Tottenham in league play, then bring out the U22s for Carabao FK matchup. It's
For
one of
sure.
those
Yeah.
that kind of week. So I'm hopeful. Hopefully, we get back in the mix of things in league play.
Yeah. I feel that, man. I want to kind of flip that on its head a little bit because I don't know, just having watched Chelsea as long as I have, where we belong is more so in the finals of these competitions that we participate in. The league stuff, yeah, we should be top four, but that usually sorts itself out over the course of the season.
Right. That's more what I was trying to say. Right?
But I hear that. I hear that. I don't know, man. It's going to be weird now that, what's his name? Mate, Australian guy.
Mm-hmm. Postecoglou.
Yeah, Postecoglou. Thank you. Yeah, now that he's not going to be running the Spurs up with a high line, Thomas Frank's got them actually playing, solid ball.
Yeah.
Going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but it'll feel all that more sweeter whenever we do actually get those 3 points at White Hart Lane. But yeah, that is that, friends. I think we're going to go ahead and close it out. So as always, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Paul Fletes. You can find me at Paul and FC, the most government of names.
And I'm Logan Bartlett. Catch me online at Lobar VHLM.
And as always, keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. That is an episode, y'all.
Peace.
See you Sunday.
Yep, we'll be there. Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.